Marv assembly complete.
Hey, what's up guys, Massive here, coming back to do another video commentary, and today I'm going to be doing something very different. I'm going to be discussing a game that was featured many years ago. Like, this is strictly me doing this purely for nostalgia. It's going to be a Hall of Fame game as well, which was played many years ago, as I said before. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this game. It's going to be between eXs.Pulse, also known as Eclipse, and Unleashed. And over here on the left-hand side, we can see playing as the purple Travel 59 is going to be Eclipse. It's a very old name. Used to play a lot of games versus him back in the day, and it is a very classic map as well. You don't see this map played very often nowadays, but before it was the most played map in the game, bar none. Over here on the right, we can see Unleashed UA playing as Traveler 59. So it's going to be a T-59 mirror. I did see this game many years ago, but honestly I cannot recall it, and I cannot even recall it being casted by anyone. In fact, I think there was one guy by the name of DJ Chill, if I recall correctly, who did cast this game, but no one really of note, I think, casted this game ever. And it is a Travel 59 mirror, but yeah, it is not. This game was played even before 1.82 Plus was around, so no bug fixes at all. So we might expect a few things, a few glitches here and there to appear, and if, you know, if that is the case, then that is why. But it looks like neither side went for Traveler 59 Disintegrator opening back in 2012. The meta game wasn't really as fleshed out as it is nowadays. People didn't know that in Traveler 59 mirrors it was pretty much a no-risk thing to do, going for a descent rush, because descents, even if your opponent doesn't go for descents, you can still dodge buzzer hives. As you saw in that last first-person video I done, I think in one of the games especially, was it on Tiki Turmoil? Yeah, it was on Tiki Turmoil. I split off one disintegrator just to lure the buzzers from the buzzer hive, and while the other ones go in to kill the hive itself. If you want to avoid the buzzers from the buzzer hive chasing one descent, you just power the buzzer hive down. It will reset its buzzers at the buzzer hive. So yeah, this game, either side just going to eco. It looks like no one has gone for the bottom Tyranium spikes, which is really unusual, because Unleashed usually back in the day was the guy who was really fond of Tyranium spikes. I should have really put a bottle of water near my table for this cast, because it's no doubt going to get heated up and intense. It is going to be a good game, and as you can see, there is a bug here which we fixed with the refinery stacking. If you actually, I heard people say that I deliberately made this bug work. Well, look at this here. Unleashed, I'm pretty sure he didn't know of it as well, and look, it happened to him there. So it was just one of these things, and it didn't really happen to Eclipse. So Unleashed had an advantage that he probably had no idea about. Took us many years to identify that that wasn't normal. Actually, no, this one's actually bugging out here as well, but not really the greatest deal in the world. Looks like we have a fast tier 3 for Eclipse, and I can only imagine that being a tier 3 unless he's going for cultists, which looks like Unleashed is going to do right now. He's already got his fast legs upgrade, going for the 2 engineers. Doesn't look like he has anything to really spot if there's anything in the bottom. Yeah, he does. Okay, he does have the buzzers in those garrisons, just so that he doesn't take any risks. Engineers will be taking those 2 Tyranium spikes right now. This third engineer could potentially take this Tyranium spike. It looks like Eclipse is onto it. He is really got no eyes of what Unleashed is doing right now.
Construction complete.
He's going Mecha Peas, but Unleashed, he already has the hard counter in the form of the stasis chamber and the tier 2. He's going for cultists right now, so this could be disastrous for Eclipse. Remember, it is actually a lot harder to kill cultists now in 1.2, because gunwalkers and shardwalkers don't one-shot them. That's a slight balance change that we introduced into R13, if I recall correctly, or R12. I think it was R12. But yeah, he's going to get both his Mecha Peas captured. That is a terrible start for Eclipse here. If I Unleashed there, I quickly send those Mecha Peas back at him. How's Eclipse going to come back from this? If I were Eclipse in this point in time, seeing that I have both my Tyranium spikes, seeing that both of the Tyranium spikes are in the bottom, in fact he probably doesn't know that those are captured by Unleashed, but yeah, he's in a really bad spot right now, and I would have probably surrendered at this point. Oh, Prodigy comes in. And it does get taken out. The cultists as well taking damage. Eclipse getting a very nice buzzer swarm there. And if you can lure these onto the Tiberium field, you can use the infestation hive. Not sure how much damage that'll do, but yeah, nice micro from Unleashed. Going to take those buzzers, and he's retreating with his cultist. He does have the 2 mechapedes under his control. He doesn't look like he's in a rush to get them ordered. But yeah, Eclipse is onto this. Remember, he can use the Tiberium vibration scan to reveal where his opponent's mechapedes are. And looks like Unleashed got the first shot on that mechapede. And this game will go on. Unleashed, he is taking up the tier 3 behind it. If I were him, I would probably have just gone strictly for eco after that. But yeah, he's going to go for mechapedes right now. Mechapedes plus cultists, a very powerful combination. He is almost dry out of Tiberium though, that must be said. He could also take this blue Tiberium field. So yeah, these guys back in the day, I wouldn't say that they were worse. I mean, I guess this was... again, I'll reiterate what I said in the beginning of the video. The meta game wasn't really fleshed out as it was. When I played this game in 2012, no one really took this blue Tiberium field right here until the very late game. And then, of course, when Bike Crush came along, everyone started to take it after their third or fourth harvester just to deny the opponent grabbing it. And it also allows you to make to last longer on your 2 Tiberium fields, which belong to you. If you take the blue Tiberium, you can have more gas to continue on in the fight. But yeah, mechapedes are still on the field for Eclipse. He has nothing really to answer the cultists right now. Unleashed deciding to transition into a tripod. Very unusual strategy. I wouldn't personally recommend that nowadays, but yeah, it is more or less the same balance as 1.02 Plus, except a few bug changes, balance changes here and there. And mechapedes, one of the bug fixes that was introduced in 1.02 Plus is that originally the mechapedes here, they couldn't shoot air unless the first segment that you developed on the mechapede was an anti-air segment or a disintegrator segment. If you made it a toxin or a shard segment, the anti-air capabilities would never work on the mechapede. So every single time I was versus Steel Talons or GDI, I had to always make my first segment a descent segment or a dis segment. And yeah, that was a bug back in the day. It was fixed, and to compensate that, we gave Steel Talons Titans a small damage buff versus mechapedes only, so that they could 3-shot the mecha heads, because they didn't have shadow tanks, and Titans really struggled versus mechapedes then. But has Eclipse got his buzzer swarm ability recharged right now? I don't know, but up here in the top there is a power plant. Looks like one power plant was grabbed by an engineer. Fortunately, it wasn't the war factory for Eclipse. Cult is coming down here. He has nothing really to stop these cultists. Eclipse is onto it though. He's moving his harvesters out of the way. And what's he going to be building from this buzzer hive? Probably, portal. It's going to be a bunch of buzzers there as cannon fodder, so that he can avoid his harvesters being grabbed. And I'd get those quickly back to work if I were you, Eclipse, because that is lost mining time. Prodigy here. Oh my god, that was... I don't even think Eclipse is paying attention to that, but because he used his normal area mine control, normal mine control, he cannot take this tier 3 right now, so that is going to be pretty good for Eclipse. Though if I were Eclipse, I mean, it's obvious that you're going to lose your tech center momentarily if you don't take that Prodigy out. Mechapedes being hoarded all around the place, and these tripods are going to be not the best answer to the mechapedes, especially without shields. They are... Whoa. Looks like a lightning spike being called in there, probably to kill a buzzer. I doubt that was Eclipse's buzzer swarm. It could have been though, but yeah, this tech center is definitely going to die. And nice sell there from Eclipse. He knew that it was probably going to lose it, so he ended up just selling anyways for that quick $2,000. And one thing to notice, this blue Tiberium field is still full. And wow, Unleashed with the double drone ship, really? I guess he made this just because there was a real risk of him losing his, or one of his drone ships to the Prodigy. And yeah, he's just going to sit back here for a while. Eclipse now is starting to build some cultists of his own, which we found out to be a very good combination. Cultist plus Mechapede. And he's going to take back these Tiberium spikes too. Again, I'll say it again, this blue Tiberium field is up for grabs. Eclipse, he has this field completely saturated, full of harvesters. He could probably send 1 or 2 of them to that blue field just to avoid the likelihood of his refineries being bugged by that many harvesters there. But he's really being hurt by the fact that he hasn't got fast legs right now. But it's going to be a war of cultists now, because both sides have them. Remember, cultists can retake units taken by the enemy cultists, so it's going to be a micro battle of sorts. And those cultists taking quite a bit of damage from the tripods, just because there's that many tripods there right now. And what we got over here, we have Mechapedes. I think Unleashed would want to get out of there. I think he's used his mind control. I think that mind control's on cooldown right now, so it could be Eclipse's chance to go in there and kill some of those cultists. But yeah, if I were Unleashed, I'd probably just sit back at base. I mean, you have this base well defended. You've only got 3 harvesters there. You probably would want to transfer some of them to that field. Prodigy out on the field now for Unleashed. He has that back again. Looks like a rally point for Eclipse. Unintentionally sending his cultists to the Tiberium spikes, but yeah, he'd want them to be up here right now. The storm columns will make it very hard for him to penetrate into that base with the Mechapedes, but he's doing the smart thing here, which is to go around the side. The Prodigy is here. He could probably teleport in some of those cultists, but I doubt that Unleashed. In fact, he never really knew that you could force fire the ground to clump up cultists and then teleport them all. Yeah, if you just force fire the ground, the cultists stack up together and you could teleport them that way. Tripod going to be reclaimed here. And yeah, now it's the norm really of what you would expect to see in a Traveler 59 mirror mass cultist, which is what it should have been to begin with. But Unleashed, he had different ideas at the time. Eclipse, he went for the classic Mechapede opening, which was very, very popular. And still is to this day a very popular opening versus Skirn factions in a Skirn mirror. And how good is the force firing here for Unleashed? He's going to get some of his Mechapedes taken out Eclipse, but yeah, he's moving in with the cultists. I think he's a bit wasteful right now. Yeah, those are definitely not going to escape, especially with the Buzzer Swarm. Not even sure if he caught a Buzzer Swarm in there. I think it was just a Buzzer Hive, which is neatly behind that drone ship. But yeah, man, this blue field, I don't think it can grow any more, to be honest. I think he could definitely make a quick effort at taking back that, or taking that blue Tiberium. He really hasn't done that at all this game. That's one of the things that could have propelled either player so far ahead in this game. But yeah, I'm not even sure what to think of this game at the moment. Eclipse, he's going to be out of Tiberium very soon. He's pretty much here. He's got so many high. He could just send all of his harvesters blue Tiberium field and grab all of it, to be honest, in one go. He's not under much threat either, to be honest, if he'd done that. And there is a couple of tripods here, but he's got enough cultists to readily be able to deal with those. He has the Mechapedes as well for the map control. He's just not doing that right now. And I don't know what it is, but maybe he forgot that his that field is there. I don't know. Still continuing to build the tripods. Oh my god, Unleashed. We know better nowadays, but just then I don't think that these players knew what to do in these kind of matchups. I don't think it was a matchup that was played very often. In fact, Traveler 59 as a whole, when I started playing this game, I think it was just Unleashed that played Traveler, and this Haru Specs guy. It was him and Haru Specs that played Traveler 59. There was no one else that really mained a faction then. Speaking of maining a faction, nowadays no one mains factions. They just play random all the time, because random is the best faction to play as, because it is quite an advantage. All teleport bug for Eclipse. Not sure what he was planning to do there. Probably hoping to teleport in a Eradicator Hexapod. He could teleport in the Eradicator Hexapod onto the enemy Prodigy and use that to crush the Prodigy. Something that I used to do in the past versus Unleashed. It was kind of funny. That's going to get taken out, and tripods are pretty pathetic at crushing infantry, but it will crush that Prodigy. He's just going to crush. Oh my god, can tripods even crush Prodigies? I think they can, because a Prodigy is classified as a heavy infantry unit. So actually no, it can't, because if you think of it, Dozer Blades can't crush Prodigies for some reason. I thought that they would, because it's a heavy infantry unit, but apparently Commandos are in a league of their own, and they don't get crushed by anything besides epic units. And Yeah, a bunch of corruptors being captured here. He'd want to watch though. Area mind control on vehicles does last substantially longer than on infantry. But wow, what's going on here? Mass mind controls going on at the moment. Devastator warships, presumably to take care of the enemy cultists. But yeah, that storm column doing work, taking out Mechapedes. Hexapod here, he has triple disintegrator segments inside of it, so not going to have any form of anti-air to deal with these dev warships, which have been upgraded with Traveler engines at the moment. And Eclipse, he has an epic unit, pretty much unopposed right now. Unleashed, he's in all sorts of trouble. He's getting his Hexapod out, or trying to. He still has control of this Tiberium field, but Eclipse somehow has made this work despite him not having Tiberium spikes, nor even taking the blue Tiberium field. His economy is going to be strictly funded by the fact that he's getting resources for each unit that he kills with his Hexapod through its recycling system. And not much use that EMP was. I mean, it will stall some time. EMP does last 10 seconds, so that will help him for a little bit. But yeah, the Hexapod's going to come out in any moment now. Unleash his economies in ruins. He does have several harvesters still, though, so it's not that bad for him. I'm surprised that neither side's again gone for that blue field. I'm just going to stop saying that at the moment, but it's just really amazing me. It's amazing, yeah, how neither side has gone for it. Unleashed Hexapods come out now. He's going to probably chase this back. The Devastator warships, they're trying to kill this Hexapod, which they probably will if Eclipse doesn't use this corruptor to put some healing onto it, but he has no reason to really lose this Hex right now, especially with the corruptors for the heal. He could definitely do more here, but I think Unleashed is going to go back to base. I mean, there isn't much anti-air really to scare him back. I mean, he does have Traveler engines, so he could potentially come in here and maybe kill the enemy tier 3 or something like that. It'd be totally worth it, but the Prodigy does have the ability to capture one of those Devastator warships. Unleashed still continuing to build warships at the moment, it looks like. Where are his warships, speaking of? Looks like Lightning Spike is still up here, which will grant him vision up there, by the way, at the very least. And this game has kind of slowed down at the moment. He's going to get some healing up on this Hexapod here right now, Eclipse. Unleashed moving in with the Hexapod. What has he done as far as economy goes? He hasn't really recovered too much in the economy side of things. This Hexapod is going to be forced to go back to base unless he wants to lose it right here and now, which it looks like he is. Unleashed, maybe he had a teleport bug, which does happen when you play versus players across the globe, which Unleashed and Eclipse almost certainly are. One being in Ukraine, the other being in America. But as I said before, Unleashed coming in with the Devastator warships. I mean, if I were him, I would be targeting the more viable structures, such as the Technology Assembler. But he's going to lose all these Devastator warships here. I'm not sure if it was necessarily worth it. He does kill all of Eclipse's refineries except one. So maybe that was worth it, I don't know. But yeah, Eclipse now just realizing that he could go for this blue Tiberium and take it for his own. And Unleashed with his Storm Columns, man. It's a very unusual choice. And he's going for Storm Riders now, which is kind of bizarre to me. I don't know why you're going for Storm Riders in this game, because Screen AA is literally the best in the game. But if your opponent's going to be spamming those Storm Columns, man, I mean, maybe it is a good idea, because remember, Storm Columns do buff allied Storm Riders as well. It's not just yours, it's, I mean, opponent Storm Riders. The opponent Storm Riders also get buffed. Pretty big area mind control here. For Unleashed, he's going to try and get some damage done here, but yeah, the Hexapod coming in once again. He's going to find all of Unleashed's economy here at the moment. Unleashed hasn't really been taking any Tiberium. It looks like Eclipse has decided to use that income that he received from the blue field on Storm Riders. Let's see how that's going to work out for him. Mechapedes in these days weren't as good as they are now because of that anti-air bug, which I talked about. In fact, I'm not even sure if the solution to that was even known now when this game was played. So they didn't even know that you could just make the first segment a disc or a descent segment and it would have been fine. So yeah, they were just strictly relying on gunwalkers back then to kill the Storm Riders, which is not really enough, to be honest. And this the MCV getting captured by the Prodigy, which does actually get destroyed somehow by the buzzers, so that is incredibly lucky there for Eclipse and Unleashed. Probably going to go back for his Prodigy, who does seem to have a habit of doing that all the time. Yet he's going for that Prodigy once again. Hexapod ranking up now for Eclipse. And Unleashed at the moment, he still has eco. Eclipse, he definitely has eco. With all this blue Tiberium coming in, he probably would want to get another refinery out, just in case he loses this one here. But yeah, he's just milking this Hexapod at the moment, which is going to be his ticket to victory if he can keep it alive. Unleashed does have his second Hexapod out at the moment, after he foolishly lost it the first time. And Storm Riders, they're going to see that there is only a handful of Storm Columns here. I don't think Unleashed was expecting Storm Riders. I mean, it is something you would never expect in a million years. You just wouldn't expect this, to be honest. And he's getting buffed by these Storm Columns, which is pretty insane. If I were him, I'd go definitely for the power plants, or maybe the harvesters as well. But you can see those Storm Columns literally picked off. No Storm Riders are there at all. And he will get a damage buff from those Storm Riders, and does take those out at the cost of 1. But definitely worth it there. And as you saw, Storm Columns really not the answer to those Storm Riders. And he has decided to keep his gravity stabilizers alive. Usually if I go for storms, I sell both my gravity stabilizers and make a Storm Column, just because it heals faster and also provides a momentary buff. But Tripod being teleported into EMP this Hexapod didn't really accomplish much. And Unleashed probably wouldn't want to teleport that back to base at the moment, because yeah, he's going to be EMP'd by that veteran Tripod. Looks like neither side has really destroyed any of their opponent's spikes in this game. All 4 have remained. But the blue field has all but been claimed by Eclipse in this game. He's unloading it now at this refinery. Wonder how growth accelerators would do in this game, considering how it's gone on for so long. Unleashed has pretty much been untouched at this base the whole game, so he could have just made a couple growth accelerators and regrown that Tiberium. But yeah, another Prodigy goes down for Unleashed at the expense of $1,500, which is always worth it. And Eclipse at the moment, he is gonna just make another Hexapod. I think that was another Hex, because if I recall correctly, the last one he had was a veteran Hexapod. But yeah, this is definitely not how Traveler mirrors end up being. But when they get into the late game, it is very weird. A lot of things can happen. Even shock troopers and infantry that you never see in other matchups are very good against Traveler 59 in mirrors, strictly because they don't have any anti-infantry air units, such as hammer hits or venoms, or a base defense. They can actually have a ranged attack. It doesn't have a ranged attack, so those shock troopers don't have any counter to them. And this Hexapod is going to go down for Unleashed. There was a bug in this in 1.02 plus or 1.02, where if you area mind controlled a unit and a Hexapod in the same area mind control radius, it would actually grant you control of the enemy epic unit, which is a kind of major bug. That was ultimately made a rule in the ladder wars / tournament rules. It's going to be a battle of the Hexapods right now, and cultists still out in the field. Of course, you would always see cultists in the mirrors, just in case either side decides to make a couple of tripods or megapedes, which they would almost certainly do. But now this game is so weird, I'm not even sure how to commentate it, but he has got the shard upgrade Unleashed, taking out all of those Storm Riders and going for his own as well. But sad news for him is that Eclipse has triple shock troopers inside of this Hex, so he's going to be having decent anti-air capability right now. He also has a Prodigy as well, which he can teleport back to base. And Unleashed teleporting in a assimilator just to try and take out that, or take over that tripod husk, but not enough, unfortunately. Prodigy does get taken out once again, and Eclipse really making this Hexapod do work right now. Taking out these Storm Riders, going to grant him a bunch of experience. And you know this portal's almost certainly building a commando at the moment, so I would be targeting that, delaying the opponent's Prodigy coming out. And he's going to teleport back to base right now. Unleashed, despite him having 3 bases to Eclipse's 2, he hasn't really got much economy at the moment. He does have 3 harvesters here, but yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before Eclipse has that veteran Hexapod once again, based on how much he killed in that last engagement. And look at this, even Eclipse taking the Tiberium of Unleashed on this map. Buzzers scattered all over the place. If I were in either player's shoes at the moment, I wouldn't know what to do either in this game. I would probably go for tried and true combination Mechapeds plus Cultists, or maybe even Shock Troopers would be a good idea as well. And a couple of Ravager squads is also another answer to the Prodigy, because they move so fast. And this time Eclipse not being able to kill that Prodigy with the Corruptors Unleashed. He's going to move in right here, and he's going to take out some Corruptors for his trouble. And good micro there as well, even noticing there's an assimilator, which presumably was stealthed because they don't move. They're stealthed while moving, or not moving. And yeah, I mean, Unleashed, he does have an opportunity to come into this base and take out the enemy drone ship, because there is no threat anymore from the Buzzer Swarm support power. But I think he would want to retreat it anyways, just so that he can teleport his Hexapod back to base. But no, instead he's going to go back and teleport in a tripod. Eclipse. Why did he do that? Maybe because he wants to... I don't know, was that tripod near the Hex or something? Yes, pretty much a battle at the Prodigies right now. There's so much going on at the moment. This is so incredibly weird. Oh, you want to watch that Hexapod Prodigy Eclipse? Alright, we'll get crushed by that Hex. And both sides fighting over the tripod. But Eclipse coming through in the end, taking out the enemy Hex. Unleashed. Does he have a Warp Chasm still? Yes, he does. Continuing to go for the Hexapod once again. He is almost dry out of Tiberium. Prodigy, Eclipse's Prodigy does get taken out once again. Eclipse has a handful of Cultists, which will be useful in taking out the enemy tripods that try to come in. I guess this is what they'd done back in the day. They relied on tripods to be teleported into EMP enemy epic units. Of course, we do that nowadays, but trap mirrors rarely ever end up the way it is now. Usually when I'm in trial of mirrors nowadays, I go for mass planetary assault carriers and devastator warships in the late game, just camp with those. But yeah, there is pretty much no support here for this Hexapod, so I reckon he's going to teleport this back to base once again. And yep, there he goes. Not much healing though for Eclipse, though it is enough. You could probably use the reconstruction drones as well, which is granted to him by having a warp sphere. But he is an elite Hexapod at the moment, so he's going to be on the verge of going heroic soon. Unleashed, he needs to make something happen, otherwise he's going to be certainly out of this game, because he's not really doing enough damage. He needs to take his enemy's drone ship or something with the Prodigy. Maybe consider going for a mothership as well, because there is a stasis or signal transmitter in Eclipse's base. So if he could somehow grab that and call in the mothership, he can probably take out Eclipse's base. The mothership does get countered though, however, by a drone ship, so the drone ship can headbutt the mothership, which is one way to deal with it as a Skren faction. And again, it's going to be just Hexapods versus Hexapods at the moment. Nothing really much besides this going on in this game. And what's going on here? Mothership. What did I say? It's going to be a mothership for Eclipse. And that is gonna force the cell of the Rift Generator, which Unleashed made like a minute ago. And wow, that was really good strategy there. Somehow those shock troopers were not, they were affected somehow, and then they still are alive. Okay then. Well, Unleashed now, he is in all sorts of trouble. He lost his tier 3 and his ability to build another prodigy if he loses this one here. But yeah, he will get a lot of experience if he kills this mothership. And oh my god, I'm losing my voice right now. Eclipse, he's going to probably win this game at the moment. I am going to call it, because Unleashed has pretty much no options beside going for Storm Riders. So 1 second, guys. Alright guys, I'm back, and I had to clear my throat there. Unleashed going to set up here, because he's going to just grant experience to this Hexapod, which is going to probably go heroic any moment now. Calling in the Overlord's Wrath there. Eclipse, and he's going to sell his own signal transmitter. That is going to provide him with regrowing Tiberium, unlike the Ichor Seed, which doesn't drop regrowing Tib. There is 2 types of Tib which Scrin can drop. One which is non-regrowing, and the other which is, depending on the sort of port power that you use. So yeah, and he still has Prodigy, so we can't count him out of this game yet. I've seen him pull off some amazing stunts in the past with Prodigy. You'd want to recall his Prodigy back to base. He has no tripods though to really deal with this Hexapod. You can go for Disintegrators, but that's just going to continually feed experience to this Hexapod of Eclipse, who has his Prodigy well defended here by an army of Corruptors and Gunwalkers. But yeah, he's going to get it ranked up any moment now, and I don't know what Unleashed is teleporting in at the moment. But yeah, back in the day, when the Prodigy attempted to teleport an allied unit, it would turn to face the unit it's trying to teleport in. Nowadays it doesn't do that. I think CGF changed the logic behind that. And oh my god, he actually... that's what I meant there. The area mind control, if it had anything in that area mind control radius, which shouldn't be area mind controlled, it would still get area mind controlled. That's a bug which doesn't occur nowadays. And oh my god, there you go. There's the heroic Hexapod. So yeah, Unleashed, he's just gonna sit back here and do what he normally does and just stay in the game forever, because that's how I remember him to be. He did never change throughout the years. And yeah, Eclipse, he's just gonna take out Unleashed Hexapod. It's gonna fall in pretty much a matter of time, unless... No, there is no unless here. Unleashed, he's moving his drone ship. Is it me, or do drone ships fly a little lower in 1.02? I think they do, actually. It's kind of weird. But yeah, good move there by Eclipse. He's going to take out this Hexapod for his trouble. Deny Unleashed any opportunity to come back here, but yeah, he's going to move his Prodigy into the enemy anti-infantry Prodigies in 1.02. In fact, until R12, Prodigies had slightly less HP, or more HP than they do now. We actually nerfed the Prodigy. And it's still overpowered, to let you know, despite all the changes that we've done to it. And this Hexapod is going to be pretty much indestructible right now, despite these shock troopers having pretty decent cannon damage resistance. They will fall. And Unleashed in a moment, probably going to call the GG. And what can you really say about this game? It was a pretty action-packed game. I can definitely see how it got so many wubs. But the game has changed throughout the years. For example, in the beginning, neither side went for a descent rush, whereas it would be commonplace to do that nowadays. Every single game that you go for a Trail of Mirrors. In fact, no one really picks Trail of 59. So these guys did. That's why in the player status screen, which I never showed you, both players did choose Trail 59. But yeah, Eclipse going to come through with a victory there. I feel that Unleashed was way too wasteful in his Hexapods. He wasted far too many of them. Nice move with the mothership from Eclipse. He got a lot of work done with that, and as you saw there, Unleashed was just far too wasteful. You could see it in game, but it's even more noticeable in the economy graph here, which shows that he was far ahead of Eclipse in eco. He was what, 40,000 more ahead of Eclipse, so that's quite a bit. If you think of it, that's like 10 or 11 tripods. So Unleashed there, it was his game to lose, and he somehow lost it. With all that said though, Eclipse, he pulled through with a very nice win there. I reckon it could have been a lot easier for him if he'd taken that blue Tiberium when he could have a long time ago. But yeah guys, hope you enjoyed this VOD. It was something different, and if you enjoyed it, then I might bring some more games that are in the Hall of Fame. I know that you've seen Green Zero and others attempt a similar series, but I like to just take a small trip down nostalgia lane as well now and then, and cast some games on EA maps between two well-known players that I had the privilege to play and know once upon a time. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this VOD. This is Master Leaf. Peace out.